Welcome to the climax of the second Ashes test at the Gabba in our Cricket 26 playthrough. All three results are still on the cards, but it very much looks like it will be an Australia win. We need 358 runs to win. We're 5 wickets down, so the most realistic result for us to try and get is a draw. Now, 5 wickets down, that's going to be very difficult, but what I decided to do last episode is leave some of our more top-ordered batsmen until last. So Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes and Jamie Smith all are still to come in here. We've got Mark Wood and Jack Leach in as our top order, unfortunately, which is completely broken through once again. We've had a smack really with Bryden Carse and Mark Wood. Bryden Carse got run out pretty foolishly from us, to be honest. And Jack Leach has gone first ball. Jack Leach has gone first ball, clean bowled by Scott Boland. Bryden Carse, we had lost him earlier on in the over. Jack Leach had faced his first ball, but Scott Boland has clean bowled Jack Leach in this first ball of this latest part. So we're now 6 down. Jack Leach clean bowled, 56-4-6. And I think it is time now to bring our big hitters out. So Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes and Jamie Smith, the 4 remaining. And what I decided to do that is because we had got bullied a little bit early on, so I figured that we might as well try to get into this innings a little bit while not using and risking some of those more precious batsmen to us, the likes of Joe Root and Ben Stokes. Once again, I've been doing a bit of training playing some county cricket within the management career between episodes. That doesn't seem to be translated so far into what we've played here, but Joe Root is on strike, 2 balls faced, none off them so far. But that is a nice shot off the back foot. We'll get a couple off that. Might even go for 4 here, but we did say in the last episode that the outfield at the Gabba isn't quite as quick as it was in the first test at Perth. The reason why it has gone 5 days is because we've had quite a bit of inclement weather. Without that, I think it would have been a definite loss for us, because our batting just hasn't been good enough, really. Pretty defensive field for Mark Wood, as you would expect, so he might be able to play away his shots here. Not like that, though. And again, I'm not really sure to where to turn with this, to be honest, because I've been doing some training and that's been going pretty well. But when it translates to this Ashes series, I'm just getting nowhere with the batting.
Great delivery.
Not supposed to be easy, though. I suppose that's the charm of it. But if we could get out of this with a draw, we're only 1-0 down. It gives us half a chance.
That's right off the meat of the bat.
2-0 down at this stage, and it is a long way back to try and get back in this Ashes series. I would say it's pretty much all over unless a miracle happens to change things.
Well played. It's off the middle, but it may not make it to the boundary.
That's a nice shot from Joe Root there. We'll get a couple. We won't run for 3. We might be able to, but it's not worth it. I've played a few defensive overs with Joe Root. The last 2 just getting a single off either the last ball or the penultimate ball of the over to keep Joe Root on strike. Because it's not runs we're after, really. It is just making sure we can survive here to draw the match. There's approximately 50 odd overs for us to bat out if we want to draw this match. Nothing off the final ball of that Scott Boland over though, so it is Mark Wood back on strike. Cameron Green played his first over against Joe Root. He got 1 off it. Well, that was only a defensive shot from Mark Wood. But nevertheless, it nearly went all the way to the boundary. And I held it a bit there after only running 1. We obviously want Joe Root back on strike. But they took quite a bit of time in the field, so we managed to get 3 off that. Quick single down the leg side. Possibly could run for 2. But again, the idea is to keep Joe Root on strike, so Mark Wood will face the last ball of this over. Hopefully defend it out, and then Joe Root's back on strike for the next.
There'll be runs here.
Well, we only played a defensive shot once again. And I thought we might have got 2. That's why I did run for that. But we couldn't risk coming back for 2 and losing a wicket foolishly. So Mark Wood will be back on strike for the next over. 15 overs gone, so that calls for drinks. 6 wickets down. Not exactly the best start after 15 overs. But I'm going to change my tact here, which I have done the last few overs. Try to bat in more of a test match way, but try and bat out the draw. Pat Cummins back in now. How's Mark Wood going to get on facing him? Mark Wood's batted that out successfully. Made an over for Australia. But crucial that we keep this partnership going. Quick single to end the over. So Joe Root back on strike again for the next. That one was a little bit tight, but we got there. It was okay. Well, that was a defensive shot once again, but it's edged for 4. First boundary of the episode. We're not worried about runs, but if we can get them, it is a nice thing to have. So Joe Root moves into double figures. Does mean that, unfortunately, Mark Wood is back on strike for the next over, presumably to be bowled by Cameron Green. But he coped okay against Pat Cummins, so hopefully he should cope the same against Cameron Green.
How will he reply?
That one missed Joe Root, all ends up. Have a look at this. Bit late with the defence. Ooh. That was quite close to getting an edge, I think.
Got on the inside and played that wonderfully well. The fielder needs to work hard to stop
Some of these
that.
defensive shots seem to go a bit further than I'd certainly like. It's runs. I don't mind that. Just trying to defend our stumps. And I suppose the best way to do that is to play away from them sometimes. So free off that one. Mark Wood, though, is back on strike for the last 3 balls of the over. But he's proved quite competent so far at defending, so I'm okay with that. We'll just gloss over that. That miss there, but unfortunately nowhere near the stumps, so we get away with it. Here comes spin then. The next thing that we've got to try and take on. I found it difficult to defend spin, so this could be difficult.
Nice, solid defensive shot.
And the other thing that'll be difficult as well is to get these singles to keep Joe Root back on strike. Because when you defend from spin, it's not going to go very far like it would with pace bowling, for instance. And Joe Root's gone on the second ball of the Nathan Lyon over. I really don't like spin. Find it very difficult to bat against. It really thwarted us in the first test. And that is a big wicket gone for Australia. We batted well. Solid innings from Joe Root to start with, but clean bowled there. Clean bowl from Nathan Lyon. Batted for 3 parts of an hour. 43 balls faced. 76 for 7. Going to bring the captain in now. Ben Stokes. That then leaves Harry Brook and Jamie Smith, the last 2 men. And Ben Stokes was clean bowled by Nathan Lyon. I can't remember if it was in the first innings or in that other test match. We're really going to have to up our game against spin. It might just finish the game off for us here. That's unfortunate to lose Joe Root after what was quite a stable run of overs.
Oh, that's nice. Good defence. Well played. It's off the middle.
Nice shot from Mark Wood. That'll get a single to get Ben Stokes back on strike for the second ball of the Pat Cummins over. 45 overs to bat out today. I think we batted out 7 or 8 without losing a wicket, but it was spin that gave us a problem. I was fearing then that perhaps that was in the air for Pat Cummins to go and catch, but didn't carry, so panic over there. You can see they've gone quite aggressive with the field, trying to prevent the singles. Play that away. Always tempted with a bouncer. Should get 2 off it. We're not going to go for a third.
Nice shot, and they'll pick up a couple.
Maybe could have ran 4 there, to be honest. Ben Stokes is off the mark after his 7th delivery, though. Another one. Get a single. That's exactly what we wanted. I'm happy with that. Mark Wood will face the last ball of this Pat Cummins over. And then it is Ben Stokes to face his nemesis, Nathan Lyon. Perfect over from Nathan Lyon last time out. Maiden over. And the big wicket of Joe Root. Can he get Ben Stokes? Ooh. There's an appeal. Not out. But if I was Australia with 3 reviews left, England being 7 down, surely I'd take it. But obviously not close enough to the stumps for them to go for that review. I do think one, maybe with the spinners, attack is the best form of defence. We've played away there, got a couple off that. Maybe should have just ran the one, because if we lose Mark Wood, it's not the end of the world. Out of these 2. Ben Stokes back on strike. Played that one away, but that one is straight to a fielder, so we can't get any runs off that one. I think I'm probably more comfortable playing attacking shots against spin than defensive. But of course, if those attacking shots go wrong, then you're very likely to be out. So it's a fine line.
That's gone. Takes the bails.
And within one ball of saying that, it's come true. Spin has taken 2 massive wickets of Joe Root and Ben Stokes. And I think with us being 6 down, the way we were batting quite methodically, just getting a single at the end of the over against pace was working for us. We weren't in too much danger. But Nathan Lyon's come into the attack. Within 2 overs, he's took out Joe Root and Ben Stokes. We're now 8 down. And for us to bat out another 40-odd overs with only 2 wickets in hand is an uphill task to say the least. You could possibly say impossible.
He's got their tail up.
We need a rain delay now to save us, I think.
They'll get at least
Played
one.
away to the leg side nicely. Get a couple off this at least for Mark Wood. And then after being there for the whole over at the non-striker's end, Harry Brook will face his first delivery, presumably against Nathan Lyon. 2 overs, 2 wickets. Did concede 2 runs. Look at how aggressive the field's come. They can smell blood here.
Got on the inside and played that wonderfully well. The fielder needs to
I
work
played a good
hard
shot
to stop
there.
that.
Just going to play the one. As I've said, if we lose Mark Wood, it's not as bad as losing Brook. To be honest, of course, we don't want to lose anybody at this point. We've only 2 wickets in hand.
What a
And he's
delivery.
gone. We just cannot bat against spin, particularly Nathan Lyon's spin. And it has been this stint from Nathan Lyon that's finished us off. Harry Brook now clean bowled. We kept the 3 batsmen back. Root, Stokes, Brook. They've all fell to Nathan Lyon. Last man in now is going to be Jamie Smith. And I think it's just a matter of time before we lose this test match, unfortunately.
Smith has taken
And go
the
2-0
ball
down
and
in
ready
this
to go.
Ashes series.
He'll be looking to settle in and work the ball around. Oh, that's nice. Good defence.
Still honing in on their lines. The batter happy to let it go through.
Gone.
And that's it. Game over. 4th man gone, clean bowled. Some lovely spin that Lyon got on the ball there. It was just going through my head to think, well, maybe if something doesn't come near the stumps, it's not worth playing it. And I half thought that. That one didn't look much like coming to the stumps, but it spun late. Clean bowled Jamie Smith, and Australia have won by a landslide of 327 runs. It all starts at the start of this episode, losing that wicket of Jack Leach. And we did decently against pace bowling. I did think maybe there was possibly half a chance. But unfortunately, it's spin that has made the difference. This was the first. Joe Root clean bowled. Way out of time, way too late playing a defensive shot. Ben Stokes then the next one to fall, followed by Harry Brook and Jamie Smith. And to his eternal credit, Mark Wood had a good go. He really did. And he's the one that carries his bat. Jamie Smith on the last ball of the 25th over falls. And Australia now lead by 2-0 in this Ashes series. Player of the match, Jake Weatherall, deservedly an 83 in the first innings. But that second innings, 136 not out. I don't think it necessarily saved Australia because we would have been all out. But look at that, 71 all out in the first innings. I mean, we had a smack in the first innings. Maybe we can learn something by just trying to defend out some overs in the 3rd test match. But something's got to change massively because we are really struggling. You see in the first innings we were battered. 3 wickets down, only scoring 2 runs. And that just is unsustainable to try and recover from. And here again, Duckett gone for a duck. Pope gone for a golden duck. Zach Crawley gone for 2. 2 run-outs, we've got to look back at those really and criticise ourselves, and that wasn't really good enough. Joe Root had a decent stint, faced 43 balls, defended them, but the might of Nathan Lyon was just too much. And those last 4, all clean bowled from Nathan Lyon to give Australia a 2-0 lead in this Ashes series. Well, I think it's going to take a lot for us to come back from that, but we will carry on with this Ashes series. Again, I'll try and do some training between episodes, but it's spin bowling clearly where we need to make a difference. I think that might just probably match Nathan Lyon's best ever stats. 4 wickets for 4 runs. What a test match it's been for Nathan Lyon, and a big confidence boost as well for Jake Weatherald as opener for Australia. I'll see you for the third test.